بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. Welcome to a new session of Code of Practice for Muslims in the West. So last week, before I concluded the class, I just alluded a little bit to we talked about eating and drinking. So today we are going to talk about dressing. So one of the things that are very common in the West to deal with for Muslims is the leather issue. So I divided the leather into two categories, unknown and known. What I mean by unknown, we're not sure if it's leather or not. We're not sure if it's leather even or not. So we don't know if it's leather or not. Here we know it is leather, known leather. In this case, if we don't even know if it's leather or not, so someone gave me this wallet as a gift, and I'm not sure if it's leather or plastic or cotton. There is nothing on it that proves otherwise. Nothing. Nothing at all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. In this case, when the the material is not even known, the origin of the material is not even known. We don't know if it's leather or non-leather. What do? We say it's halal. It's halal. So in this case, if I don't even know, where is the pen? So this must be H. I will put H, meaning halal. We come to this one. We know that it is not genuine leather. It is vinyl. So if it's vinyl, is it halal to wear or not? It's halal. Now, if it's genuine leather, either it is made in a Muslim country or a non-Muslim country. So if it's made in a Muslim country or imported from a Muslim country, say for example it is made in Italy, but the leather itself was imported from Turkey, or it was made and imported from a Muslim country. In this case, what is it? It's halal too. So if it's made in a Muslim country or imported from a Muslim country, even if it's made in a non-Muslim country, it's halal. We come to this one, made in a non-Muslim country, like the United States, like China, like India, like Brazil. Is it halal or not? This is where Sayyid Sistani stands different than other scholars. Sayyid Sistani says in that non-Muslim country where this leather was made, is there a substantial Muslim community, 5% and up, that it could be, it's very possible that the leather I am using could be made from the halal meat slaughtered for Muslims in that country. So for example, France, you know the population of France? Huh? 60 million. Do you know how many Muslims live there? 6 million. So that means 10%. 10% of France is Muslims. Now, there is a big possibility that those Muslims are eating halal meat, right? So their meat, their leather, is used just like any other leather. That means 10% of leather in France, very possible it's made from halal leather. Now, Sayyid Sistani says as long as there is such a possibility, more than 2%, 5% and up, that the leather made in that non-Muslim country is made of a halal leather, just like the case in France, for example. In Germany, there are at least 5 million of the 80 million. 5 million Muslims, at least. So, what is the percentage of 5 to 80? Anybody good in that? So, 4%? You're almost there. You're almost there. He says 5%. Why 5%? He says it has to be reasonable percentage. 2% is not reasonable. It's too low to be considered. If there is 2% only possibility that this leather is made of halal leather, this is insignificant. Insignificant. We cannot rely on it. But if there is a 5% chance that this leather is made out of halal, then remember what we said the other day. كل شيء لك طاهر. طاهر. It's pure. Unless you know. Since you don't know that this is 100% najis, you say it is طاهر. Now, can I apply this concept to meat as well? No. Meat is different. Meat, you have to ascertain it's halal. But with the tahara issue, remember, all it takes one reasonable possibility to dissolve the issue of being najis. In other words, you don't need to be certain it is pure. You need to be not certain it is najis. So if I'm not certain it is najis, and 5% makes me not certain. If 5% possibility that this could be halal, I'm not certain it is najis. In this case, I can wear it and it is tahir. Now, I mentioned last week, the problem with the leather is not wearing it. You can wear it even if it's made from haram. And I'm sorry, even if it's from, yes, even if it's made from najis leather. Because halal leather, you cannot eat it, you will wear it. So if, and it's halal to be worn, nothing with that. The problem is, if it's najis, then if you wear it and you get wet, and there will be transmission of moisture between your body and this leather, your body will become najis. That means you have to go and wash that part before salah. So for example, if I'm wearing shoes, leather shoes, that is made in, say, China. I go and check China. China has a Muslim population of 20 million. But what is 20 million compared to the total population of China? Do you know that? 1.3. 1.3. So 1.3 is less than 1%, right? So that's insignificant. Therefore, if the leather is made in China, that means I still cannot use the 5%, because the Muslim population in China does not arise to that level. 5% to be reasonable, to be considered tahir. It's insignificant. Therefore, I'm almost certain that the leather in China is what? Is najis. Therefore, I cannot wear it. I'm sorry, I cannot consider it tahir. But can I wear these shoes? Yes, you can. But then what? If my feet get wet because of sweating, and then the moisture transmits from my feet to the shoes, or vice versa, from the shoes to my feet, as if the shoes get wet with the rain, because of the rain, my feet get wet. In this case, my feet get what? get najis. So what's the consequences? The consequences, if I want to do prayer, I have to wash my feet first. Does that make my wudu batil? No, it doesn't. All it makes, my feet is najis. I have to wash it, rinse it before making salah. Someone says, okay, so what's the big deal? I wash myself, my feet. Okay, if you don't care, if it's not a big hassle for you, if it does not pose a challenge for you, go and wash your feet. It's not haram to wear that shoes. It's not haram. We're talking about it's pure or not. So if there is a possibility, 5% and up chance that this could be made of halal leather, it is tahir. I can consider it tahir. I wear it. I do not worry about anything. But if there is no 5% chance, such as the one made in the US. Now, what's the percentage of Muslims in the United States? Muslims, they say 6 million. So 6 million compared to 330 million. What is the percentage? Less than 2%. Less than 2%. If it's less than 2%, then this is insignificant. That means leather made in the US is what? Is considered what? Najis. Therefore, if I wear it, I have to wash my feet if I sweat or if my feet get wet. I have to wash it before entering my salah. First you and then Sister Melinda.
Okay, I have a question. Like when you travel, like when we go to Lebanon, we have to stop in Paris, whatever, London, Frankfurt. When you use the bathrooms there, in the airports, do you consider their toilets tahir? Because that gets me so, I don't know what.
Well, Sayyid Sistani and other scholars also say as long as you're not 100% sure it is najis, everything is tahir. So unless you know 100%, it is najis. So if there is a possibility that this could be tahir, someone just rinsed it today before I use it, yes. So I consider everything tahir, whether in London or Paris or in Beirut, unless I know 100% it's najis. Unless I know someone urinated on this. So that's a different story. Yes, Sister Melinda.
So if your leather coat gets wet,
yes,
and it just touches your sweater,
yes.
So is your sweater najis? Then you have to.
No. Your sweater is not najis. Okay. If the moisture goes all the way to your skin, or vice versa, meaning you sweat, and the sweating reaches the leather, then in that case, your skin is najis. If there is physical contact between your skin and the leather. But say you're just wearing it like this. My upper, sweater is leather. And it does not, even if my inside, my body is sweating, the sweating is not, it doesn't reach the outside the sweater. That's fine. That's fine.
What if it rains?
If it rains and then some of it reaches to my body, or I touch it with my hand, then my hand becomes najis. Yes.
What about having like
Or I'm sorry. Or for example, if your car is leather, the seats, and let's say it's made in the US, the leather, which is we consider not najis. So if it rains, and then you go inside the car and you sit on it, then your sweater becomes najis because it was wet and it touched the non-halal leather, it becomes najis. But in case that you're not sure if it's leather or not, it could be something else. Or it's leather, but it is not genuine leather, it is vinyl. In this case, you're okay. Or it could be made in the US and the leather was imported from Turkey. Turkey is known for exporting halal leather because it's a Muslim country. So if the car is assembled in the US, but I know for sure, for example, I know for sure that this leather was made in Turkey and imported by the US, then in this case it is tahir. When it will become problematic, in this case, if it's made in a non-Muslim country and it's a genuine leather, and then I go and sit on that leather, then my sweater becomes you know Mercedes-Benz? You know Mercedes-Benz. So I have a friend of mine. I remember I was visiting one of the Gulf countries a few years ago. So, and I'm very particular about when I sit in a car and it's leather, I'm very particular, you know. I make sure that there is no, I don't sweat or. So the owner of the car, who happened to be working for, it was a Mercedes, and he happened to work for the Benz dealer. He was Benz dealer. He told me, say, don't worry about it. I said, what do you mean? Wasn't this made in Germany? He says, yes, it was made in Germany, but the leather was imported from Turkey. So the leather inside Mercedes-Benz in 2008 or 7, all the leather made inside the Mercedes-Benz was all made imported from Turkey. So you can sit and relax because Turkey is a Muslim country and the leather in it is halal. So even though the car was made in Germany, it's Mercedes-Benz, but the leather was made in a Muslim country. Someone had a question? Yes?
I have a question. What if you had a wallet that was leather and you don't know where it was made and you had it in front of you when you were praying? Is that okay?
Remember what we said here.
Oh, unknown, okay.
If it's unknown, you don't know where it's made, in a Muslim country or non-Muslim country, then in this case.
Now, what if it was known and it was in a haram?
Okay, so it's known. Like what? Give me an example.
Like a Kate Spade purse.
I know. No, what I mean by known, where it was made, that's what I meant.
Italy.
Okay, Italy. Okay, Italy is a non-Muslim country, right? So does it have at least 5% Muslims? No, it doesn't. So in this case, if it's made in Italy, then I have to consider it najis. You see? But if I don't know where it was made, I know it's leather, but I don't know what country. Now, what is the percentage that this leather could be made in a Muslim country? Any hint? Any clue? Because Muslims form 25% of the world population. So if it's made, I know it's leather, but I don't know where is it made. It doesn't say what country. There is a 25% probability that it is made in a Muslim country. And is 25% sufficient or not? Yes, more than sufficient. Because we said the threshold is what? 5%. So this is 25%. So if it's leather but unknown, what I mean by unknown, we are not sure where it was made. Okay? The whereabouts is not known. Yes?
Just add one last thing. So if you're saying it's on the prayer rug, the
Yeah,
verse,
the prayer
but
rug.
it's not najis unless it's wet,
Yeah.
then,
Yeah,
right? So she can touch it and pray.
You can touch it. You can touch it.
Let's say I
But if your hand is wet and you touch it, then you have to wash your hand. Or if it's wet, the purse is wet, and you touch it with your dry hand, your hand becomes najis.
so سيدنا بيفسد الوضوء إذا واحد على وضوء.
No, I said specifically, it does not yufsid al-wudu. It does not make your wudu batil. All it does, you have to wash that area. So if you touch it with your hand, you wash your hand. If you touch it with your nose, you wash your nose. If you touch it with your forehead, you wash your forehead. Wherever it touches it, then you have to wash. That's it. نعم.
عين النجاسة.
لا مش عين النجاسة هذه.
مكان النجاسة.
أي مكان النجاسة. ملامسة. أوكي. نعم.
If Like I have a Toyota, okay, and you said that Toyotas are made in China,
Okay. Toyota is in Japan.
Japan. Like it's leather, but I don't know if it's real leather.
Exactly. So you don't know if it's real or not.
Right. So,
So as long as you don't know it's real or not,
it's halal.
it's halal.
Okay.
But if you know it is real and you know it is made in Japan, then that will be problematic. So we said if you do not know if it's real leather or not, it could be vinyl, synthetic, right? It's artificial, say. So that's not najis. And also, if I don't know where it was made, it's leather, but I don't know where, what part of the world. In this case, it is tahir as well, because there is a probability that it was made by a Muslim country. What is the percentage? 25%, because Muslims are 25% of the world population. Okay. Now let's move on. So now that's clear, inshallah, for you. Now, we said it is okay to wear it even if it's najis, right? But in one case, you can't wear it. When? Huh? Prayer. When you pray, you have to make sure that your dress is tahir. So during salah, you cannot wear it. Outside salah, you can wear it. But in salah, you have to be wearing something you are certain that it is tahir. Okay. Now, what about leather made of an animal such as tiger, for example? You have seen leather, tiger leather, lion leather. No, let's not go to snake now. A snake and crocodile is different. So what about this tiger? Can I wear it? Again, even, okay, now assuming we kill this tiger according to the Qibla, right? Just like we slaughter the sheep or cow. It is tahir. But the problem is I cannot wear it during salah. Because in salah I have two laws ruling over my salah. One, it can't be najis. Number two, it can't be made of an animal that is not edible. Cow is edible, right? So I can wear during salah cow's leather. I can, if it's halal. But lion is edible or not? No, it's not edible. So even if the leather is tahir, during salah I'm not supposed to eat it. I'm not supposed to wear it. Even if it's tahir. Same thing too with tiger. Or any other animal that's not edible, such as elephant. Okay? Any animal that is not edible, I'm not supposed to eat it. I cannot wear the leather during salah. Not because it is najis, because it could be tahir. I kill the elephant, salam alaikum wa rahmatullah, according to Qibla. Assuming, okay? But still, and that's why some scholars have an issue with
What page are you
on page 115. That's why some people have an issue with cat. Cat is not najis, right? Cat is not najis. It's not najis. It's not najis. The problem is it edible or not? Unless you're Chinese probably or Koreans, I don't know. They eat cat. I heard in China they eat everything. But no, we're talking in general. You don't eat cat, right? Cat is not edible. Because cat is not edible, any part of cat cannot be on your body while you're praying. Okay? So the hair is not najis, but you cannot wear it during salah.
What if you have cat hair on your clothes?
That's the issue.
You can.
You can't.
Najis, yeah.
No, not najis. Not najis. You're not supposed to wear it during salah. It cannot be on you. Because najis, what is najis? Remember, if you touch it and it's wet, you have to wash your hand. You still can touch the cat, hug the cat, kiss the cat, whatever you want. But the hair of the cat cannot be on you when you pray, because we say there are two laws ruling over salah. One, it has to be tahir, which is tahir. Number two, it should not be taken from an animal that is not edible. Is cat edible? No. Because this has come from an animal that is not edible, I cannot have it or wear it during my salah. Is that clear? Okay. Now, so let's move on. Now, another issue. So, a deer. How does it, can I erase this one? How a deer can become halal? Is deer edible or not? Yes. Huh?
By slaughtering it the right way.
Exactly. There are two ways to make deer halal. For the sheep, there is one way, and that is to kill the sheep toward the Qibla with the 5 conditions I mentioned earlier. But with deer, there are two ways. One, you hold him and you slaughter him toward the Qibla. That's one way. The other way is you are chasing the deer in the wood. Now, he's not going to wait for you, so you catch him and you slaughter him. He's going to run. Now, you shoot either by the bone arrow or by the bullet. If I shoot the ghazal, the deer, with either a bullet or the other one, if I say Bismillah and shoot, half of the operation is over. It's tahir. What is the other half? I have to rush. If I get to the deer and it's still alive, I kill him. If he's dead, it's halal. Yes, halal. I repeat, a deer could be made halal through one of two ways. One, I treat him like the sheep. I already catch him and I slaughter him according to the Qibla. The other way, he's not in my hand. He's roaming in the wood. I chase him. Now if I chase him, I cannot catch him, so I have to shoot him. Then if I shoot him, what would happen? It says, in order to make it halal, make sure first you say Bismillah when you shoot. Number two, and it doesn't matter, Qibla or non-Qibla, just say Bismillah and shoot. Number two, when you shoot him, you go immediately to him. You rush yourself. If you catch him and he's still alive, you kill him. You slaughter him. If he's dead, it's halal. Is that clear?
It's halal.
It's halal.
So you can eat them if
You can eat him. Yeah, you can eat him, and the leather is tahir, and you can use him. I mean, any legitimate use of this deer is halal, whether for the meat or the leather. I'm sorry.
You don't have to slaughter him if he's dead.
If he's already dead, no.
With a bullet?
No. With the bullet or with the what do you call it?
Bone arrow.
Bone arrow. It's both in any way. Now.
Does the person hunting him has to be a Muslim?
Yes.
He has to be a Muslim.
Yes. The hunter has to be Muslim. Yes. Now.
So my family does a lot of hunting, and in regards to if you're shooting ducks or geese or things that fly, when you shoot, I don't know what it's called, but a lot of bullets go at once. Do you have to say Bismillah before each duck that you're killing?
Yes.
Okay.
Each duck you shoot, you have to say Bismillah.
Before each time you shoot, you have to
But
say
it's not
Bismillah.
good.
Exactly. And if they shoot the duck, they have to go after rush. If they find the duck dead, it's halal. but if it's still alive, they slaughter. Is that clear? That applies to deer, to ducks, or any other animal that could be hunted. Any other, that's edible, of course. Okay, so it is halal. Now, our sister mentioned snake, and I added crocodile. So here we have snake leather or crocodile leather. Is it halal or haram? Yes, it is halal. Why? Because in Arabic they say it doesn't have a flow, gushing blood. See, when you kill the deer or the horse or the sheep, blood gushes, right? But kill a snake,
Cold-blooded.
no blood. Exactly. What's called?
Cold-blooded.
Cold blood. There is no blood coming out. Same thing with the crocodile. Same thing with guana, probably. Most of the reptiles, right? So any animal that the blood does not gush at the time of slaughter, this is considered halal, no matter how you kill him. So the crocodile is tahir, the leather is tahir. Snake's leather is tahir.
But you can't eat it, right?
No, you can't eat it. I didn't say it's halal to eat. Of course it's not halal. Crocodile is not halal to eat. Snake is not halal to eat. I'm not talking about the permissibility of meat, eating the meat. I'm talking about the purity after death, after slaughter. The purity after slaughter. So if I kill the snake, I don't have to kill it to the qibla to be halal. Anyway, I kill it, it's halal. Why? Because it doesn't have a gushing blood, or it's cold blood. Okay, so is that clear? Okay, now read 199. He says leather products made in non-Muslim countries whose nature and ritual purity cannot be determined, uncertain whether they are from natural or permissible to you or not, are permissible to use during salah. So if this leather is made in the US, but we are not sure if it's real leather or not real, in this case, what do? I wear it. It's okay. It's tahir. It's considered tahir. And I mentioned when it becomes najis. I said najis, if the leather that is considered najis, I said when it will be problematic for you to wear it. Only when there is a moisture, there is a transition of moisture from the body to the leather, or from the leather to the body. That's the case, you have a problem. But if you don't get wet, I am wearing this sweater, I didn't, it was too cold, so I didn't sweat. It's fine, I have no problem. Or if I sweat, my underwear is getting wet, not the sweater itself. Again, it's okay. In one case, there was some moisture from my body to the leather, and then in this case, let's say my hand, then in this case, what do I have to do? To wash my hand before salah. That's all I need to do. My wudu is okay. Only that part that was touched by the leather, I need to wash before salah.
Like say if your clothes washed, I touch the leather, and it's raining, and I have a leather jacket, and my clothes are right under the leather.
Becomes najis.
It does.
Yes. Say for example, this.
Okay, and you're wearing leather on top of it.
Exactly. So this part touched the leather that is wet,
Okay.
and it became wet. So it becomes najis.
You can't pray with that.
Yeah, I can't. Anything that touches the najis leather becomes najis. Be it my hand or be it any other thing. It becomes najis. So I have to wash my hand if it's my hand, or if it's my jubba, I have to wash that part. That touched the leather, and it got wet. Is that clear?
Or just take it off if you.
Or I just take it off and I pray without it. Okay. So, and if it's, and as long as we said there is a probability, reasonable probability, for this leather, the leather that is made in a non-Muslim country, as long as there is a reasonable probability that it could be made out of halal, then it will be also pure. I said, for example, if you live in France, and if you buy leather made of France, there is 10% chance this was made from halal leather, that therefore, if it's a leather made in France, you can consider tahir, even though it's made in France. Because there is a 10% chance it could be made from, and 10% chance is enough for me not to be certain it is najis. To be certain means 100%. When you're 100%, 99%, that's certain. But 95%, you're not certain. You're not certain. Most likely, right? No. You have to be certain to consider it najis. You have to be certain it is najis. When you're not certain it is najis, then you still consider it halal, tahir.
And so in the US, it's what?
It's less than.
It's not.
Less than 5, yes. US, Canada, any country that the percentage of Muslims fall short of 5%, you cannot consider the leather in that country to be halal, and therefore you cannot consider it tahir. Okay. Let's move to another subject. We're still talking about dressing, okay? What about gold? Wearing gold for the guys is haram. For women, it is halal. Number one. Number two, gold plated is not haram. Gold is haram. Because gold plated, what gold plated means is this is silver, but it was covered with a layer of golden, in Arabic they call it ma' al-dhahab. I mean, it's not even gold. It is, I'm sorry?
Imitation.
I'm sorry? Imitation? It's not imitation. It's real gold, but it is a gold that was basically melted, yes. So they cover it with. So there is no big layer. Anyway, so if it's made of gold, men cannot wear it. But if it's gold plated, it's fine.
White gold?
Exactly. No, that's a different one. White gold is haram for men. Why is that?
It's still gold.
Because it's gold. It doesn't matter if it's.
Why is that haram?
Why it's haram? The Quran and the Hadith doesn't say why. But now scientifically it's been proven that gold affects the red cells in men's blood. Yes, only in men's blood affects them. The red cells. That is needed. But it doesn't have the same effect on women, subhanallah. So, gold is haram for men, but if it's not haram for women. Now, what about silk? Silk also is haram for men. It is not haram for women. When I say silk, I mean pure silk. So if it's not a pure, 50-50. So say, for example, this jubba, 50% wool, 50% silk. It's not haram. I still can wear it. But if it's pure silk, it is haram to wear it for men. Also, if I have doubt, how? It says silk here. It says made in China and silk, pure silk. But they are selling it for $15. I mean, that's not possible. Because if it's silk, real silk, it must be at least $100, at least. So when they sell it for $15, this shows that this is fake, most likely fake. So just like, when you buy, I was in China one time, And we passed by a market, and there were, what's the name of the, huh? Rolex. You can buy 100 Rolex watches, $5 each. $5. And I was really stunned, but then when I asked, they told me these are all fake. And China is known to make those, you know, fake brands for $5. Unless you're someone, you're an expert, you cannot tell really the difference between the real Rolex or the fake one. So the fact that they are being sold for $5, it shows that's fake. Now, if they were being sold for $15,000, probably someone would have been deceived because it says Rolex. So that's also not haram if I have doubt, legitimate doubt. A third part, anytime for men, anytime the silk cannot cover the genitals of a man or a woman, then in this case, it is okay to wear it, even during salah. By the way, both silk and gold, not only haram, but you cannot pray with them. If you pray with them, if men pray with gold or silk, their salah will be what? Will be batil. Only if it's mixed silk or doubtful silk, or it's the one I am wearing cannot cover the private area. Meaning, this jubba, does it cover the private area? Yes, of course, it does, right? But the tie, you know, the tie a man wears, does it cover the private area? It doesn't. Or the socks do not cover the private area, right? So socks and ties, even though if they are made out of pure silk, they don't harm man's prayer if they wear them, because they are not really wearing them. This is something wearing when it covers at least it covers your private area. But to wear a tie, you're not wearing. In other words, Islam says don't wear it as long as you are wearing it, really wearing it. It's covering you. You're naked and it's covering you. So a tie doesn't cover any naked person, right? So it's a tie or socks. So socks and ties are okay for men to wear if they are made of silk, even if they are made out of pure silk. So we have 3 exceptions for men. 1, if it's not a pure silk, it's halal. Number 2, if you have doubt that it is a pure silk. Number 3, if that part you're wearing in salah usually does not typically cover the private area, such as ties or socks, it's okay. Wearing socks out of pure silk for men is halal even in salah. Okay. Now, look at 208 if you have in page 117. It says, based on obligatory precaution, men are not allowed to dress up in women's clothes. Men are not. So, for example, there are unisex dresses, such as sweater. Sweater could be worn by a man or a woman, right? So that's fine. Pants is okay. Shoes. But what about skirt?
No.
A man cannot wear a skirt.
Unless you're from Scotland.
Yeah.
That's the rest.
Well, even if you're from Scotland. Because Islam says, you know, dresses and clothing worn by women, men are not allowed to wear it. So what else that usually only women would wear? Only women. Huh? I'm sorry? Hijab. Well, yeah, that's true. A man cannot wear hijab, I mean a scarf, the way a woman would wear. Because that's only women.
A bra.
A bra. Okay. A woman cannot. High heels, yes, that's true. High heels, very high heels. Because sometimes men wear shoes with, mildly high. But if it's too high like women, yeah, it's okay. Yes, yes. The other thing that men and women, Muslim men and women, are not allowed to wear. So that was for men, right? This one is for men and women. Whatever non-Muslims specifically wear, if there is an attire that non-Muslims specifically wear, a Muslim person cannot wear it. Like what?
Cross? Like a priest or like a cross?
Good. Cross and yarmulke. Yarmulke is specifically worn by a Jew. Cross is specifically worn by a Christian. A Muslim cannot wear it. Why? Because this will help changing their identity. Meaning, if I put the yarmulke, I am saying not through my tongue, but through my action, I'm a Jew. I'm not supposed to say that. Yes.
My friend wanted to dress up.
With all due respect to the Jews, but I'm not a Jew, so I cannot claim I'm a Jew when I'm not Jew. Yes.
My friend wanted to dress up as a nun for a Halloween party, and it comes with a cross, so it's not allowed.
It could be, yeah, it's not allowed. A nun, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. A woman would wear the nuns. Assuming nuns have a special uniform. She's not allowed. Because this cloth, this uniform is specially designed for non-Muslim women, for nuns, Christian nuns.
Even if it's like a costume, like she's considering it.
You're not supposed to.
Even the Christmas Santa Claus hat.
That's a good point, yes. If I look like Santa Claus and Santa Claus, assuming it's only Christian, then it could be a problem.
Is it really like only Christians? Like the idea of Santa Claus isn't really...
It's not. It's a Christian holiday, but everybody...
Doing the holiday is okay, as long as I'm not saying I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
You see?
Okay.
So, in page 118 and 119, basically are questions regarding the same topics we were talking. Only go to the last, or the one before the last, number 213, question 213 in page 119. It says, is it permissible to wear clothes that have pictures of intoxicant drinks as a promotion for drinking them? Is it permissible to sell such items? Answer, it is forbidden to wear and sell them. So there is the t-shirt that says Budweiser. As a Muslim, can I wear it? I'm not supposed to wear it. Why? Because I'm promoting beer. Or I sell it. I'm a vendor, I sell this, whether to Muslims or non-Muslims. I'm not supposed to do this. Why? Even though the t-shirt is okay. There's nothing wrong with the t-shirt itself. But the problem is, I'm promoting something haram, which is beer. So, any clothes you're wearing, you're not supposed to promote something haram. Or, God forbid, I'm wearing a t-shirt that promotes pornography. I'm not supposed to do that. So, this kind of clothes is haram. Wearing it and selling it and buying it. I cannot sell it, I cannot buy it, I cannot wear it. Any clothes that promotes something haram, such as wine, alcohol, pornography, or anything haram. Or, for example, it says, I hate Muslims. So, you can't, because you're promoting, or I hate black people or white people. This is racism. So I cannot promote those kind of concepts. It's haram for me to buy them, to sell them, and to promote them.
What about the marijuana leaf?
Marijuana?
The one leaf, because they look how our shirts on it. People are like,
Marijuana, if it's for medical reason,
yeah.
and it's a necessity, meaning this patient is going through a lot of pain. If we have other ways to quell his pain, we have to. Assuming we have no way but to give him marijuana. So in this case, it's medication, right? Remember what we said. When it comes to medication, Islam is more flexible. Even if it has something haram, gel in it, as long as we are saving someone's life, so it is okay. If it's medication and out of necessity. But for recreational, it's haram.
So you can't-
Buying it haram, selling it haram, using it haram. Nah.
I have a question about the clothing. I know you stated no, all the haram that's haram, but if you wear like, I know it's not haram to wear like an ayah, but then you go into the bathroom with it.
It's haram. It's not haram.
It's not haram?
No. Taking an ayah in the Quran to the bathroom is not haram.
So like is it supposed to be covered? Like if my necklace
No.
says Ayatul Kursi and
No.
it's not haram?
No,
Well, it says Allah's name.
It says, yes, mine says Allah's name. So is that haram?
it's okay.
My husband has one of those rings you're wearing, Sayyid. And wherever he uses the bathroom or anything, he takes it off. He tells me it's لازم يصلوا نجاة.
No, out of respect, that's fine, but it's not haram to take it to the bathroom. No, yusalla najasa, that's a different thing. You're talking about a different thing. To, let's say, have urine on the name of Allah is haram.
Pee and you have it on, it's okay?
That's a different thing. No, it's not haram. That's not halal. She's saying, I enter the bathroom, right?
Yeah, like
With the shirt, with the ayah on the Quran on man. No, that's not haram. But you are telling me about something else. You're telling me the ring has Allah's name and someone would urinate on it.
Not urinate, like pee and غسل عادي.
Okay, but if I allow the ring to be exposed to urine is haram.
course.
So I have to remove it, yes. But just taking it inside the bathroom is not haram.
All right.
Okay. Now, I think we need to leave this for the next week because this is too detailed. So inshallah we'll leave this dealing with laws in non-Muslim countries. We will leave this for the next week. Please read from page 121 all the way to page 133, please. From 121 all the way to 133 or 132. Read from 121 to 132. 11 pages. Thank you so much, my dear brothers and sisters, and inshallah we'll see you next Tuesday, bi'idhnillah.